Wow, what a weekend that was in the Championship. We have a lot of action to talk over in today's video, and I'm very interested to get your guys' opinions on all the action that went down this weekend. We saw Leeds have a crazy comeback against Millwall. Bristol City were able to beat Sheff Wed United away from home. Derby put 6 goals past Rotherham, and to add to that, we've also seen Steve McClaren, the QPR manager, get the sack today as well. So a lot to discuss in today's video. And just before we do get into talking about any of the individual games, I will include your guys' comments on screen now. So if any of you did successfully manage to get any of your score predictions correct, then your comment will be included on screen now. And it was a pretty tough one to get some score predictions right this weekend. There were some really topsy-turvy results. So without further ado, let's hop into talking about some of these games. And so we'll start out on Friday night, where we saw West Brom beating Birmingham by 3-2. Birmingham really don't find themselves on a good run of form at the moment, and this one took quite a few turns in the game actually. It was Birmingham who took the lead, Conor Mahoney's corner coming in and Gardner getting his head onto it, and they went into half-time with that 1-goal lead. However, in the second half, West Brom responded instantly. Maybe a bit of poor defending from Birmingham. A free kick was swung in, Dwight Gale managed to get the final touch on it. Lee Camp was sort of just rooted to his spot, probably expecting the ball to come back across goal, but Dwight Gale in those situations is always going to make the best of them. And then it was another Conor Mahoney corner swinging in, which gave Birmingham the lead. Lucas Djukovic this time getting his head onto it to put Birmingham back in front. However, it was unfortunately Mahoney who then gave away the penalty. However, there was a bit of controversy in this. When you do watch the replays, it does look like the foul took place outside the box, and so from that aspect, Birmingham did get quite unlucky with this penalty decision. However, why Mahoney was sliding in that situation, I'm not so sure. He's gave the referee a decision to make there, and it was quite clumsy defending from him. Rodriguez was then able to slot that away, and then Jake Livermore popped up with a winner in the 74th minute. It was an absolute rocket of a shot from outside the box. Got a lot of power on it. Lee Camp did sort of get down to it and got a touch on the ball. Should he have saved it? Possibly. But it was a very good strike from him nevertheless. And this result still leaves West Brom in 4th, but they're only 4 points behind Sheff Wed United now. And with West Brom winning their last 3 matches, they're on a decent run at the moment. And then we had Aston Villa beating Blackburn by 2-1. A big 3 points for Villa in this one, who now move up to 5th in the league. But we've spoken a lot about the impact that Jack Grealish has had on this Villa side since coming back into the team, but it really was John McGinn who stole the show for Villa in midfield for this one. Some of his passing was absolutely exquisite in this one. The first goal completely came through John McGinn. A brilliant chip over the top of the Blackburn defence into El Ghazi. He pulled it back across goal, and then Tammy Abraham had quite an easy tap in. That all came from John McGinn's brilliant passes, and it's just those little bursts of quality which really does prove him to be one of the best central midfielders in the league. And he himself could have had a goal in this game. He had one in the first half which was well saved by David Raya, and one that was tipped against the post as well. Despite Blackburn being the goal down though, they were creating things going forward. Charlie Mulgrew having some in-swinging free kicks which really were causing this Villa side some problems. Conway hit the crossbar as well from a curling effort. But eventually Villa did get their second of the game. A brilliant swinging cross coming in from John McGinn from his left foot, met by Tyrone Mings, and that was looking like it would seal the 3 points for Aston Villa. However, Blackburn did get a goal back, a free kick coming in from Charlie Mulgrew. Jed Steer sort of looked to have misjudged it. He fumbled the ball a little bit, and then Bell had a tap in to make it 2-1. Set up a bit more of a nervy finish to the game, but in the end Villa were able to hold out, and like I said, that now takes them up to 5th in the league. And then we had Derby beating Rotherham by 6-1. Now, I said it in my prediction video earlier on in the week, but Derby have a very favourable running compared to everyone else in the top 6 from now until the end of the season, and if they could get their mojo back going forward, now they have got returning players coming back in from injury, I seriously think they've got a very good chance of the top 6, and what a way to kick that off after the international break. The impact that Mason Mount has on this Derby side cannot be underestimated. When they play without Mason Mount, they can be a little bit passive in possession, not very penetrating, but with someone to progress the ball in those midfield areas like Mason Mount, it can make the world of difference. And Derby were looking really direct for this game. They were swinging balls into the box, and Rotherham couldn't really deal with that. Martin Wycorn's probably going to get most of the plaudits though. He scored a hat-trick in this game, 2 of them coming from the penalty spot. Add that Johnson, Holmes and Mason Mount also got on the score sheet for Derby County. It was a blistering attacking performance from them, and this is what I want to see from Derby from now until the end of the season. In fairness to Rotherham, they did have some chances going forward. Richard Wood did get a goal back for them. To add to that, Roos had to be kept on his toes on a few occasions. He did pop up with some decent saves for Derby in this one, but from minute 1, Rotherham hadn't really settled into this game. Derby made it tough for them, and this result has lifted them into the top 6 with a game in hand on the teams above them now. So things for Derby at the moment, they're looking fairly good after this one, I have to say. And then we had Hull beating Ipswich by 2-0. Picking up all 3 points away, Ipswich hasn't been that easy actually. A lot of teams have struggled away there, but Hull put in a very good away performance, and considering their away form has been a little bit up or down this season, I think this will be a good 3 points for them going forward. Grosicki getting both goals for them, both very well worked goals as well. The first one was some nice passing combinations coming from the back, the ball eventually coming forward into Pugh. He had had a nice dummy. Fraser Campbell then lays it off to Grosicki, and he's able to slot it into the back of the net. Despite Ipswich going the goal down, they did have, you know, quite a few moments in this game where they were on top. They just couldn't take any of their chances. They had a good chance cleared off the line near the end of the first half. They had a couple of other set-piece situations where they perhaps could have done better with as well. But eventually Hull went on to get their second goal. A fantastic, dazzling run from Jared Bowen down the right-hand side. He then fed the ball into Grosicki, and then with a nice sweeping finish into the far post, managed to make it 2-0 to Hull. We've spoken a lot about Jared Bowen for Hull lately, but Grosicki can be such a clever player. Absolutely brilliant winger in the Championship. After that, Hull probably had the chance to make it 3-0 as well. Pugh had a chance which came off the post, but 2 goals was enough to win it for Hull in the end. And with Bolton winning this weekend as well, that leaves Ipswich even further adrift at the bottom of the table. And then what a game we had at Ellen Road as Leeds beat Millwall by 3 goals to 2. Now, in the first half of this one, it was just looking like it wouldn't be Leeds' day. Ben Thompson took the lead for Millwall after just 10 minutes. Leeds loved to get back into the game after Alioski had gone down. They were given a penalty, but Patrick Bamford couldn't convert that. It was quite a poor penalty, really, in all circumstances. Eventually, Leeds got back into the game through Pablo Hernandez, a really nicely worked goal and a sweeping finish from Pablo into the far post. However, in the second half, Millwall managed to regain their lead through the penalty spot. Ben Marshall sticking that one away, and when Millwall were winning this game, Sheffield United were also winning their game, and it was looking like a bit of a gap may begin to form with Norwich and Sheffield United pulling away from Leeds. It was looking like they may have gone ahead and thrown it away again, but there is some real determination in this Leeds squad. They got back into the game through Luke Ayling, a nice ball coming over the top from Barry Douglas. And then in the 83rd minute, it was Pablo Hernandez once again getting on the score sheet and scoring a clutch goal for Leeds United after the ball was flashed across goal from Tyler Roberts. Once again, how Pablo Hernandez didn't make it into the team of the season is absolutely beyond me. But it is games like this and late moments like that from Hernandez which does go ahead and spur a side on for promotion, and considering Sheffield United lost this weekend, Leeds leapfrogged them in the table, go up to second. There's still a long way to go, but what a weekend for Leeds. In terms of Millwall, they really could have done with getting some points from that game. There is starting to be a little bit of a pull away from sides like Reading and Wigan, with both of them picking up points this weekend, and it's looking like that last relegation spot maybe between Millwall and Rotherham. And then we had Nottingham Forest beating Swansea City by 2 goals to 1. Was it a deserved victory for the home side? Probably not, looking at the performance of this one. It was Swansea who were dominating the play for the majority of this one, really. They were creating the better chances. The second half was when the game started to open up a little bit more, and before Swansea eventually did take the lead, they had some fantastic chances to go ahead. Ollie McBurney especially was slipped in at one point and really should have done better with the chance he had. You could feel the goal was coming for Swansea. They were putting Pantilimon under a lot more pressure. He had to come up with a few saves until eventually it was Roberts with the final touch which gave Swansea the lead for this one. However, their lead only lasted for 4 minutes after Daryl Murphy was on the score sheet. A Joe Lolly corner coming in and Daryl Murphy on the score sheet, and then in the 87th minute the same thing happened again pretty much. A Joe Lolly corner coming in which was converted to give Forest all 3 points. Did Forest deserve to win this one? Probably not, and I feel like I'm saying the same thing about Swansea in terms of their away performances week after week on the Championship roundup, because once again it was a good performance from Swansea where they failed to get any points. They're on a bit of a downward trend in the league at the moment. They've lost their last 3 games now. However, their performances, like I said, I don't think they've been that bad. Speaking about Nottingham Forest, like I said, it wasn't the best performance from them in the league which I've seen so far. They probably did get a little bit fortunate to come out of this one with all 3 points, but getting all 3 points is all that matters at the end of the day, and this result moves them up to 9th in the league. And then we have Bolton beating QPR by 2 goals to 1. This result has resulted in the sacking of Steve McClaren from QPR. Rangers fans will be interested to get your guys' opinions on what you make of that. 2019 hasn't gone to plan for QPR. They plummeted down the league and they've only got 1 win this year. They're currently sat 17th in the Championship, and at the start of the season that was probably where I expected QPR to go on and finish. Given all the circumstances going on with QPR off the field, with all the problems they had with the EFL at the start of the season, the transfer embargo and some other financial restrictions, it can be argued that McClaren has been managing them with one arm tied behind his back. However, for whatever reason that form has just dissipated now, and lately they've really been looking like a shadow of their former selves. Was it the correct decision to sack McClaren? I mean, they are on a really torrid run of form. I'll reserve my judgment until QPR go ahead and get in a new manager, and I'll see who their new manager is and sort of base my decision off that. But overall, I can understand why they have acted on it. I definitely can. In terms of the game itself though, a massive 3 points for Bolton Wanderers in this one. I've said quite a few times on the channel so far, I think that Bolton are dead and buried in now. They're going down to League One. However, they just come up with a performance like this every once in a while, which sort of sparks a little bit more hope for them. QPR I don't think defended very well for this one. The second goal especially, I thought that Joe Lumley probably could have done a little bit better with. It was a shot from the edge of the box from Amiobi, which he couldn't hold, and in the end the rebound managed to go in for Bolton. But next up in the league for Bolton, they've got a home game against Ipswich Town. If they win that game, they'll only be 1 point behind Rotherham. And on the last day of the season, once again Bolton find themselves playing against Nottingham Forest, the exact same game they had last year as well. So maybe history could be repeating itself and Bolton could go on and survive on the last day. But that next game for Bolton is absolutely crucial for their season. And then we had Reading beating my team Preston by 2-1. The unbeaten run for North End has unfortunately come to an end, and to be honest, this probably has been coming for a few weeks now. I've been saying lately that our performance levels haven't really been matching some of the results we have been picking up, but Reading, I thought they did well for this one actually. They did a number on us. Pace going in behind, we failed to deal with that in this one. That's where the first goal came from Yaku Mate. It was a brilliant run down the left hand side from Modu Barrow. He got the best of Donald Fisher down the right hand side, played the ball across the box, and then Yaku Mate was able to get in ahead of Josh Earl to make it 1-0 to Reading. After that, Modu Barrow then got on the score sheet after a really basic defensive error from Ben Davis. And I mean, I'll let Ben Davis off because arguably he has been one of our best players so far this season. It was a poor back pass from him, either looking for Jordan Story or Declan Rudd. Those two got tangled up together. Modu Barrow pinched the ball through the middle of them and had an easy tap in to make it 2-0 to Reading. Going 2-0 down away from home, it was never really looking too likely we were going to get back into the game. We looked a little bit more positive in the second half when Brandon Barker came on. I thought that his pace going forward was causing this Reading side a couple of problems. Unfortunately, he then had to go off injured. Add to that as well, we had to finish this game down to 10 men as Ben Pearson also had to come off injured. Jaden Stockley did get a goal back in the 93rd minute, and before the full-time whistle did go, Josh Earl had a chance at the far post to make it 2-2, but he couldn't get his header on target, and Reading did walk away with all 3 points. Honestly, Reading did deserve all 3 points from this one. I can't take anything away from their performance. A big result for them, as they have started to pull away from the bottom 3 now. In terms of Preston, we've dropped down to 10th in the Championship, and our next 3 games really are going to be decisive for us now. And then we have Bristol City beating Sheffield United by 3-2. I got to say, I did not see this one coming. Around the top 6, I'd probably say that Bristol City are the most unpredictable side, and they're the side that I really can't call how I think they'll do from now until the end of the season. It was Sheffield United who took the lead, a free kick coming into the back post where Billy Sharp was the man on the spot to give the Blades the lead, and with how good United have been defensively, you know, they've not conceded a goal for 7 games now, I really thought from that point onwards they go and close out the game. But Bristol City got back into the game, Vyman scoring his first goal on the 30th minute. Honestly, Dean Henderson probably should have done better with it. It was a bit of a looping header, but I think in fairness to Henderson, the sun probably did get in his eyes a little bit. He just looked to misjudge the flight of the ball. In the second half, Sheffield United retook the lead, Scott Hogan getting on the score sheet. However, after that, Bristol City took control of this game, Vyman getting 2 more goals. The first one, a really nice ball over the top from Casey Palmer, and the second one, he managed to evade the Sheffield United defence and get in behind them to stick it in past Henderson. In terms of Sheffield United, they brought on Marvin Johnson for the later stage of this game to come on for Jack O'Connell. I've watched both goals back, and there is probably an argument to be made that Johnson should have done a lot better with both those goals that were conceded. But I really can't take anything away from Bristol City because that is an absolutely monumental 3 points for them. Brownhill and Pack were excellent in midfield, and Vyman was absolutely clinical when the chances did come around. That result now lifts Bristol City up to 7th in the league, and they do have 2 games in hand on the teams above them. And then in what was probably the most predictable result from the weekend, we had Stoke drawing 0-0 against Sheffield Wednesday. Stoke's 4th consecutive goalless draw this season, and I can't believe what I'm seeing at the moment. In fairness to Stoke, this was probably the best they played in all those 0-0 draws they have gone to get. They probably should have gone to win this game with some of the chances they had. Wednesday, I thought they defended well for the majority of this one. They just didn't really have a lot going forward. Bojan and Tommins had some decent passing combinations. Afobe also got into some decent areas. He had a couple of headers which were well saved by Westwood. Wednesday did have the ball in the back of the net, but George Boyd was judged to be offside for that one. And Stoke probably had the best chance to win it late on when Bojan had a chance which was saved by Westwood, and then Danny Bath followed up with a chance which just went wide. The result does leave Wednesday down to 11th in the league, but they're still only 3 points away from the top 6. And then we have Wigan drawing 0-0 against Brentford this weekend as well, and there is a little bit of a gap starting to form between Wigan and the bottom 4 now. There's 4 points between themselves and Rotherham, and we've said before, Wigan really do need to take full advantage of the home games they have left for the remainder of this season, and arguably they could have gone to win this game. They probably had the better chances of this one. We normally expect Brentford to create quite a lot, but they just couldn't really get into their attacking groove for this one. Wigan, I thought, defended quite well. The best chance of the first half probably came from Reece James. Really an audacious sort of half volley for about 35 yards out, which looked like it was just about dipping into the top corner, but Daniels just managed to get a fingertip on it and tip it over the crossbar. In the second half, Wigan continued to have some other chances. Matty had a good one. Dunkley hit the post and Pilkington had a goal ruled out. Brentford's best chance of the game probably came from Ben Rama, but that was well saved by the keeper from outside the box. Not the best game going on this weekend, but a decent point for Wigan nonetheless. And then we had Norwich beating Middlesbrough by 1-0. A huge 3 points for Norwich, given that Sheff Wed United lost this weekend. That now gives them a 7-point buffer between themselves and third place. So going into the final exchanges of this season, Norwich are in a very good position now. I have to say that Middlesbrough didn't play bad at all in this one. They started the game off as the better of the two sides. They had some decent opportunities in that first half. You've always got to be aware of Norwich's attacking threats though, and they did have their fair of chances in that half as well. Timu Pukki with a couple of them, which Darren Randolph was equal to. Eventually it was Onel Hernandez though in the second half who managed to give Norwich the lead. A brilliant goal from Hernandez, you have to say, operating in such a tight area of space. He had about 3 Borough players in and around him. He managed to just jink the ball onto his inside foot and then finds the near post past Darren Randolph. A fantastic finish from Hernandez. After that, Norwich had a couple more chances, but in the final sort of 10-15 minutes of this one, Borough were throwing absolutely everything they could at Norwich, and there was quite a few goal mouth scrambles where on another day Borough probably would have got a goal. However, nothing came off for them, and this result has now left them 8th in the Championship, so they are now out of the top 6. But there is absolutely nothing separating the sides going for the playoffs now. There's only 4 points between 5th and 11th, which is absolutely ridiculous. So Borough will be left kicking themselves, but Norwich, what a result it was for them. But there were all the games that went on this weekend in the Championship. In terms of my result of the weekend, there were a lot of contenders for this one, but myself, I'm probably just going to give it to Bristol City for their incredible win away at Sheffield United. And then for my goal of the weekend, once again, quite a few contenders for this one. Myself, I'm just going to give it to Onel Hernandez of Norwich City for his fantastic goal against Borough. But guys, there you have it. That will now wrap it up for this episode of the Championship Roundup. So if you did go on to enjoy, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, let me know down below, what did you make of your team's performance this weekend, and make sure you subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.